Welcome to Tubbie Talk. We're a group of nerdy best friends hop online to talk about everything life, parenthood, gaming, and probably embarrass themselves. Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to Tubbie Talk episode, whatever this is. I do not remember. We are so many in. We are deep. We are deep in. Today, as you may be able to tell, there's only two of us. It's a couple episode. So Danny here and my co-host, my beautiful wife,
Sierra.
And if you did not know, but our topic today is going to be all about
Disneyland, specifically.
Disneyland.
You know absolutely nothing about Disney World. If you're here for Disney World, this is the wrong place for you.
The recording is going to be reversed, but it says Disneyland on the back of my shirt. Yes, we only really know Disneyland. I have been to Disney World once, but Disneyland is a little more of our area of expertise. Yeah.
Awesome. So, how many times do you think you've been to Disneyland in your life?
In general, I would say close to 60, maybe.
Okay.
Pretty safe assumption. I went maybe around 10 times as a child. Couple times as a teen, grad night, a couple of times. And then, actually, it's being a little generous, maybe 10 times in total before college years. And then when college came around, maybe another 5. And then once we started dating, quite a lot.
Yeah, if there was a graph of Danny's life and Disney trips, there would be a significant exponential increase at a very specific moment in time. So yeah, which is interesting because I didn't really grow up going to Disney. Did you go with your family growing up?
I went with my family growing up,
yes. Once a year?
Not once a year. Like I said, at most I went maybe 5.
Every other year.
Yeah, every other year maybe.
Got it. So we went maybe once with my parents. My grandma took me right when California Adventure opened. I think I was 6.
Wow.
And it wasn't
dating ourselves.
Day. Yeah. It wasn't opening day, but it was new.
Yeah.
And so I remember that. I remember going once with my parents when I was 12, and then we did 1 or 2 big family trips, with extended family. But yeah, I went to a school for a little bit in college that was probably 10 minutes away from Disneyland.
That's crazy.
And it was very much part of the culture there to go to Disneyland. It was just a thing. Every student really had a pass. This was around 2014, 2013. So it was still the days when if you had a pass, you could go and you didn't have to pay for fast passes, which is what they were called back then. They were still physical.
I don't think you even had to make a reservation.
You
that
didn't
wasn't
have to make
a
reservation. That was post-COVID that started.
Yeah.
So you could just go. That's the thing, because I wonder what it's like at that school now, because back then it was oh, we're done. We're getting out of class. Does anyone want to go to Disney? It was literally like that. You would just end up there for the evening multiple times a week. So that was when I started going a lot, because that was the first time I ever got a pass. And then I didn't have one for a few years. And then, yeah, when we started dating, right before we started dating, our group of friends, one person got one, and then another person
started
got
a snowball,
and then I got one, and then finally, I think you were the last person. I was
yeah.
Come on, please, can you just get a pass?
I finally caved.
And you did. And then you tried to ask me out
Peer
there,
pressure.
and it was a fail, and that's a story for another day. But that's kind of, so then, yeah, after we started dating, we just started going there all the time, because it was a really nice, it's a great place to go when you're dating, because you don't really have to spend a lot of money there. That's something we'll talk about.
All the money you spend is in the past.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you definitely can spend a lot of money.
Oh,
easily,
absolutely.
But you don't have to. And so that's going to be part of our tips and tricks today. But basically we thought we could go on and on about our own personal anecdotes with Disney all day long. But to be interesting to you and helpful to you, our lovely audience, we thought we would kind of do our top tips for going to Disneyland without kids. Also, let me just say, I don't classify us as Disney adults, because I will say that now that we're over the age of like 25, we wouldn't go if we didn't have a kid. Just saying. Maybe we would. I don't know.
Maybe once, but like we wouldn't
We wouldn't
spend
want to go
a pass. We wouldn't get
without
a
our
pass.
kid.
Yes,
No.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah, and we would not get a pass. Not that there's really anything wrong, in my opinion, with being a Disney adult, but some people think there is. So, anyways, I just want to clarify, like, we're not like super, 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 super fans. Like, we're just like your average, like, SoCal resident that
Live
grew
close
up
enough.
near,
Yeah.
and it's kind of part of the culture out here too. So, yeah, like, that's just something I wanted to say, because I feel like there's people that know way more than even us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So essentially, yeah, so we'll do top tips without kids, and then we'll do some with a baby. We have only been twice with our little one,
We're going a third
and
time.
we're
soon.
literally going tomorrow. So we're getting hyped and ready for
Not
that.
gonna wear this or that because it's gonna be hot. But
Yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna be like 80 degrees, but it's okay. We're wearing it now. That's why we're wearing it now. So yeah, we'll do a few tips for that, like bringing baby, but again, I feel like I'm like, don't listen to this. We're not helpful. I think
don't listen. The baby portion won't be as helpful because you don't have as much expertise going
correct,
Disney
and we
with
don't
the baby.
have expertise going with like a little kid, like who can actually ride a lot of rides.
Yes.
But we'll tell our experience and what we've learned. So
take from it what you want.
But yeah, so I would say first of all, there's different advice if you have a pass versus if you don't have a pass. So if you have a pass, I'm just gonna assume you know what to do. Okay, you invested in the pass, you better know, or you'll find out. But I think that we can kind of sprinkle those in as we go. Like, if you have a pass, you don't need to do this or whatever. But this is like for your like, if you're going for like one day, this is what you need to do. So
coming from out of state,
yeah,
and want to experience Disneyland at its finest.
I mean, likely if you're coming from out of state, you're going for a few days. So here's the thing. I think there's different things you need to do if you're going for one day only, or if you're going for like 3 separate times. So like if you are literally only going for one day, even if it's one day per park, so like technically 2 days, you need to get the Lightning Lane Pass. Because so essentially what the Lightning Lane Pass is what Fast Passes used to be. So you pay through the app. I think you have to be in the park to get it.
Let's explain what Fast Passes used to be, because if you haven't never been to Disneyland.
So Fast Pass is like, so there's the standby line where you just wait in line with everybody else. And then there's the Fast Pass where you used to go and get a little like paper ticket. You inserted your paper ticket, and a paper ticket popped out that was a Fast Pass, and it would have a return time. So it would say like, come, if it was noon, it would be like, come back between 3 and 5 for this ride. And you would have a different one per every ride. And I think you could only get like 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
And so you would come back during that time window and you'd scan it, and then you'd be able to go in like a fast track lane, basically. So you would wait a lot less than the standby line.
It really rewarded you if you were very organized and planned very methodically, and you knew when to get what.
Yes. And so
now it's still different.
Now it's called Lightning Lane Multipass, and it changes the price depending on the day that you go in the park. So if it's like a really high demand day, very crowded day, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So it ranges from $15 to $39 per person per day.
Wow.
And it basically encompasses a ton of rides. So like it includes like Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, all of that kind of stuff. Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, I
Mhm.
think all the mountains. And yeah, so you get that, and then you can reserve, I think, 1 or 2 lightning lanes at a time. So basically, you need to get that if you're going for like a short amount of time,
Those are the
because
only 2 mountains?
there's 3: Splash, Thunder, and Space.
Oh, but is Splash Mountain still called Splash Mountain?
It's a good question.
I think it's still called Tiana's
Bayou Adventure.
Bayou
You're right.
Adventure. Yeah, there's only 2
Okay.
mountains.
They
Anyways.
deleted a mountain.
It's still there, but it's just different name.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically this is too convoluted of an answer, but my first advice is basically get the Lightning Lane multi-pass, because it'll allow you to ride more rides. So you're not going to be spending an hour waiting in line for Space Mountain and then waste that time. Like, you might end up waiting 15 minutes instead. You just have to be, plan out your day as far as like reserving the times
Yeah,
that you go
absolutely.
back. But it's like, I think once you scan in, this is what you do. Once you scan into line from the Lightning Lane that you reserved, so like say you got the Space Mountain Lightning Lane, you scan it, immediately you're able to reserve another Lightning Lane. So when you're in line, you start looking at what you want to do next.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely get that. I think even if you're going for multiple days, like if you want to have like a boom, 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 like hit all the rides day, I would suggest getting that.
I would also recommend it. So either whether you're going one day or if you're going multiple days, you can get Lightning Lane for one of the days, or you can get it for multiple of the days, right? If you're trying to maximize like the amount of money you save, and you're only going one day, go on a day that's not as busy. Then you can get the Lightning Lane. Definitely recommended. I think if you go on a slow day, like maybe during the week, when it's not as busy, not during the summertime, um, like we're doing, I think you could probably, with the Lightning Lane, you could hit, and if you're only doing Disneyland, not California Adventure, I would say you could probably hit majority of the rides, like 80-85% of the rides.
With the Lightning Lane.
With the Lightning Lane, yeah. Like with the big rides too, like Space Mountain, like all the mountains.
So with that though, there's other options. So there's the multi-pass, which is the $30 or $40 at most. And then there's Lightning Lane single pass. Yeah, Lightning Lane single pass, which is for rides that are not included in the multi-pass. So for example, like Rise of the Resistance is included in that.
Is that the only one in Disneyland?
Let me see.
I'm pretty sure it is. But basically what Lightning Lane single pass is, it's almost like there's even another level of Lightning Lane, which is exclusive for only a couple of rides throughout both parks. It's for the
Radiator
super
Springs Racer, so like Cars.
Yeah. And
Rise of the Resistance.
Yep. So Disneyland, that's only the Star Wars land, Rise of the Resistance, the newest Star Wars ride as of today in June 2025, where it's the most high in demand. So if you want to get a Lightning Lane for that, you have to pay an additional
like $20 or more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that one and Cars in
California Adventure
are the only ones that aren't included in the, as far as like you have to pay extra. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then there's another pass that you can get called Premier Pass, Lightning Lane Premier Pass, which you should not get in my opinion. But if you want to, you can. But it's like at least $130 for a day. For one day.
What's the difference?
The difference is that it allows you access one-time entry to all of the Lightning Lane rides. So you don't have to pay extra if you want to go on those ones. And I think you can have, it's both parks as well. So you can do Disneyland and California Adventure.
There must be some other perk, because that does not seem worth it to me. Anyways, don't get that one. Do some more research if you want to.
Literally never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never even thought of doing that one.
Don't do that.
Like I said, if you're going one day and you're only doing Disneyland, you could probably hit majority of the rides on a slow day with a normal
or an average day with a Lightning Lane. Like you could do that. So that is our tip. That was very long. That's probably the longest one, but it's very detailed, and I want to make sure we get like the details right.
Disneyland's fault for making it so complicated.
Yes, and that's probably why they do make it complicated, so that no one can figure it
more money. But that's probably the best, the most highly like valuable tip in terms of saving the most money, saving the most time. So you don't waste time, because Time in Disneyland is precious. Time in Disneyland is valuable. That is
Absolutely.
money right there.
And then one more thing I'll mention with the Lightning Lane is that if you do purchase it, even the lowest multi-pass version, if you go to any, it's called Photo Pass. So throughout the parks, there's like professional photographers that take photos for you at like exciting locations, like the Cinderella's
in front of the castle.
Sleeping Beauty's castle, Cinderella's Disney World, Sleeping Beauty's castle, like they're everywhere. The Snow White area, I think,
You'll
has
see them. They
Mickey
have
statue.
Yep.
Great for the memories. You can download all those photos for free if you have the Lightning Lane. If you don't have it, it's like $25 just to have
very expensive.
those photos. So that's kind of a cool perk because
it kind of pays for
there's like
Lightning
no one
Lane
in the
itself.
background of the photos usually. Like if you try to take them yourself, you totally can, but like first of all, you have to find someone to take them. You gotta like, there's people everywhere.
Yeah,
like
Disneyland's packed.
Yeah, so
I don't know if you guys knew that.
If you want like professional like grade photos, it's like kind of cool, and they always have one that's like a special effect. It's like cool.
Yeah.
So that's that for the Lightning Lane. Do you have a tip, or should I just fire it off with the next one?
Go for it. I'll just give my takes on all the tips.
Okay, my next tip is if you're ordering food. First of all, mega tip. Okay, everybody, download the Disneyland app. You need it. You need it to get through the day. Okay. My mom didn't have it downloaded when we got there, and I was like, immediately give me your phone.
How did she get in the park?
She had it pulled up on Safari.
Oh,
no. Which is fine. But like, download the app, okay? Because your ticket's on there, everything's on there. Photos, like your Lightning Lane is on there.
Absolutely recommend a phone.
Also, yeah, bring an external charger. That's another tip for free. There's
not a mega tip. That was a normal tip.
I think that's a mega tip.
Oh.
My phone's always dying. So on the app as well, there's a map, and it shows you like the wait times too. So you can see like what the wait times are. But my actual tip that I'm saying right now is mobile order your food. So do not ever wait in line for food. Go to the app, go to whatever restaurant you want, mobile order it. Basically the way it works is you select a time frame to order. So like you could order while you're in line for something else. That's what I did last time. We were in line. I was like, we're gonna want to eat after this. Or
this is for most restaurants. Yeah, I think there may be a couple exceptions.
Like, okay, if it's a sit down restaurant, you have to have a reservation anyway.
And Dole Whip. I don't think Dole Whip you can.
Yeah, Dole Whip, I'm not too sure.
Either way, download the app. You can order ahead of time and pick up the food as opposed to having waiting in line to order and then waiting to pick up your food.
Yes.
And the app's super helpful.
You can mobile order.
Oh, okay.
You can mobile order Dole Whip.
But it is one of those things where having the app is great for not only the food, not only the Lightning Lane, but another tip is if you have kids, meeting characters can be really frustrating. We were planning on meeting. Well, we weren't planning on it, but we were in
Pooh Corner.
Okay, Pooh's Corner. I was like, what's the area of Pooh? The area of Pooh sounds so awful if you don't know Disney. But Pooh's Corner, Winnie the Pooh. And we were going to meet Tigger. I met Tigger when I was a baby. We got photos of it. It was really cool. Planning to recreate the thing with our young one. And we got there. Tigger was there. And then right when we got to the front, Tigger left.
We didn't check the app. So we were just like, Tigger. And we just did it. And the app shows you the times that the characters will be there. So it was like 12 to 12:30, it was Tigger. And then like 12:30 to 1, it was Eeyore. And we got right to the front like at like 12:28. And so they were like, okay, friends, you're going to be meeting Eeyore. And we were like, okay, got it. It ended up being really cute. But yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. The reason that you thought that was because about the Dole Whip is because when sometimes with the mobile ordering, that's good to note is like there won't be a pickup window. Like, because if enough people order in that pickup window, they'll close that pickup window and be like, oh, you can't pick it up till 5 p.m. And if it's 1 p.m., you're like, that's not going to work. So usually that doesn't happen. I would say with Dole Whip, it may, because like, you know, it's very popular. It is delicious. Definitely get it. Try to get it if you're there. But yeah, tip, eat the food.
I have a tip counter. How many times do we say tip in this episode?
That's going to be too annoying. It's going to be too many. So But yeah, so you can just when you mobile order the food, just order it, select your time. During the time window, go to the restaurant. You have to select that you are there. So then you'll say begin, like I'm here, start preparing my order, and then it'll tell you when it's ready. Go pick it up. It's great. That's for like self-service restaurants. So like if you like go to the front, order, and then sit down. But that's typically what we've done. We're not the place to be for like restaurant tips as far as like reservations and stuff because we never do that. So
It just takes it's so sad, but it takes so much time out of the day when you have so many rides to get to, you know?
yes, another thing though is that I've been asked a couple times is like you can bring in your own food and water
Yeah.
and drinks.
Hmm.
Like so a lot of like my dad was like surprised that you were able to, but you totally can. Like you can bring in water, drinks, like food, anything. So like if you don't even want to waste time with food or if you're on a special diet or whatever, like just bring your own.
Yeah, it's totally possible. When we were broke college people, we brought in
Yeah, we would stop at Subway
brought
right and
Subway every
nearby. We
day.
would just bring it in.
With
Um
that $5 foot long.
yes. So
Who remembers that? Huh?
that is my next tip. Do you have one next?
But another tip that I have, I guess, for people. So I'm assuming like if this would be a first time, or maybe even if you're there for a couple of days, if you're there for a big event, go get your little button. You can get a little button that says, "We went for like honeymoon. We've been for baby's first time." If you're
If it's
there
your
for the first time, birthday, they can do all that, and they'll give you free stuff. They'll give you a high five. Sometimes they'll give you a little, maybe you get to skip the line. I don't know. There's tons of things that like they can do, or they just give you a little greeting, or they give you a sticker. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of just little perks that come with just having the little button.
Yeah. Like if you go to City Hall when you enter Disneyland, it's on your left hand side.
Right by the fire
You just
station.
go right up, you say, can I have a button? It's my birthday. They write on it, happy birthday,
Yeah.
whatever. And then as you're walking around, like a lot of times the characters especially will
They'll
like
interact with you.
and like give you a little special greeting, which is cute when you're a kid too.
Yeah, cast members as well. Like I said, there's a nice little thing.
And it's a keepsake. It's a free like
absolutely.
memento. If you don't want to spend money on merch, like that's a cute little free
Yeah.
memento. So cool.
Next tip.
I was kind of thinking about when you don't need the lightning lane. So like obviously if you have a pass, you don't really need to get it like all the time. But we did a ticket this time where we have like 3 days to go throughout like the month or whatever. So first of all, if you're going with little ones, you don't really need it. It's like little ones as far as like under 40 inches. So 40 inches is the cutoff where like they can start doing everything. So like 40 inches is like Space Mountain, all the things that you kind of do need it. Okay. But if you have a smaller one than that and you're going like for the kiddo and like you're trying to make them have a great day, a lot of the rides you're going to do are going to be shorter lines anyway. The longest you're probably
And
going
they don't
to
even
wait for,
have lightning lane, most of them.
they do. Like Mickey and Minnie's does.
Okay, well, I'm thinking like Teacup, Peter Pan, like
I'm pretty sure
Mr.
Pan
Toad's.
does. Maybe?
There's
Question mark.
no way. I don't think Peter Pan has lightning lane. Dumbo doesn't have it.
Right. A lot of them don't have it because you don't like the
Pirates doesn't have it.
Pirates does.
What?
Pirates has it.
Oh,
For sure Pirates has it.
I guess
I don't
I've
know
never
about
boycotted
Peter Pan, but that's the thing I was going to talk about, like when you don't need lightning lane. So like rides, so I made a list of rides I would never wait for without lightning lane.
Yes, there's a priority list for lightning lane. I guess that's why I thought Pirates never had it, because I've never used it.
So, I mean, if you have the pass, you might as well use it for Pirates. You know what I mean? Like if you have it anyway for other rides, might as well use the lightning lane for Pirates.
The premium one?
No.
The normal one?
The multi-pass.
I would never, well, because you can only have a couple at a time.
Oh, sure. Okay. But it's like, yeah.
Like, I would rather get a lightning lane for a more...
Okay, that's true.
Oh, sorry, that's what you're talking about.
I am talking about
got it. Continue.
We just have differing opinions. I would use one on Pirates.
I would never use it on Pirates.
Okay, there you go.
We have different priority lists.
But, so, rides I would never wait for without the lightning lane. So, honestly, the ones that you have to pay extra. So if you want to go on Rise of the Resistance or if you want to go on the Cars ride, I would recommend just like paying the $20. Like they're often over an hour of a wait. So like for me, my personal cutoff, if I'm walking around and I see a ride, like the cutoff I will not wait more for is like 45 to 50 minutes. Like
It
I
varies per
won't wait.
person, but yeah.
I personally won't wait more than that for any ride. Okay, like even Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, like there are rides I'll wait longer for. So like Thunder Mountain, I'll wait 35 minutes. Okay, I'll wait
Because you
40
love
minutes.
Thunder
That's my favorite
Mountain.
ride. Even Space, like I would
Yes,
wait like
yes.
45 minutes. Like 45 minutes for that ride is like pretty standard. It's like, okay, that's fine. You talk, you play heads up, like whatever.
And by the way, that's a game that everyone plays with a little phone.
Yeah, it's basically charades.
Yeah.
So so I wouldn't wait longer than that for most rides. So like Pirates, my cutoff is like 30 minutes. But it usually is less than that. It varies.
Nah.
It varies. But
What was the tip?
throughout the day, like it'll change.
Yeah.
I don't have a tip. This is my list
okay.
of what I would personally wait for without a lightning lane.
Okay, go ahead and say the list, then I have a tip.
So
Rise of Resistance.
I wouldn't wait for without lightning lane is Rise of Resistance.
And that's the only one in Disneyland that needs a special lightning lane because it's such a long wait.
Same with Cars in, I think it's called Radiator Springs Racers.
Yeah. The Cars ride. The big long one.
Called the Cars ride. And my hot take one was Splash Mountain or whatever, Tiana's ride. Because the line is always so long for that ride.
Yeah, it's also not fun. It's hot.
I don't even like that ride personally, but if I was going to go on it, I would get Lightning Lane because the line is also outside. Another one,
a lot of it,
depending on the time, is Indiana Jones because like that line is outside. Like most of it is outside and it's hot. It's like a hot area. So try to wait for a shorter time for that one or get the Lightning Lane.
Yep.
Rides I would recommend doing the Lightning Lane for is using your slots is Big Thunder Mountain, Railroad, Space Mountain.
The mountains.
Yeah, the mountains. Like I said, Indiana Jones. As you can tell, we're definitely more Disneyland people than California Adventure. I would say over there, like if you are someone who wants to ride Incredicoaster, definitely use a lightning lane for that one. Guardians of the Galaxy, would recommend using one for that.
I would even recommend Toy Story. That has a long line.
Toy Story Mania often has a long line as well. However, that is a good line to go in if it's hot because it's AC in there.
Most of it, yeah. So, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
My tip would be if you don't want to do lightning lanes, if you're trying to penny pinch and save as much money as possible, your best bet to get on some of these rides without waiting super long, and there's only two options here, okay? Get there super early and run. Very first thing in the morning, obviously no one's there. Your best bet is you just get there as fast as possible. I don't know if you actually run. I don't know, the cast members might yell at you, but if you get there by scooting, by doing the speed walk.
Olympic speed walking.
The little
yes.
I think that's probably your best bet. Sometimes if you get lucky. Okay, so this is another thing that not a lot of people know, but rides close down a lot at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying sometimes, and sometimes it kind of works in your favor.
True.
Most of the time it's more annoying, but if a ride does close, and they usually are down for like an hour, maybe 2 hours sometimes. Sometimes they're longer. Just be aware. But most of the time it's pretty brief.
Yeah.
You can always, if you want to take lunch there, if you want to, do a couple of rides around there to see if it opens up, you can sneak in really quick when it opens up again and be, wait like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But beginning of the day and after they break down.
Correct. Yeah, those are the best times.
Other than that, you're waiting the full time.
I also will say if you're like staying at one of the Disneyland hotels, I think you get like extra like magic hours or something where you can go like early or later.
Yep.
I mean, that's just like a random tidbit. But if you're if you're a pleb and you're just staying in a normal hotel or you live here or whatever, yeah, early in the morning. It'll seem more crowded because the line to get in will be really long, but it won't because no one's actually in the park yet.
You can pull a Best Buy midnight release, wait outside in line.
I don't think they'll let you do that.
Okay.
So yeah, my other tip, what would you say are some tips like okay, like bringing a fan or like
Like
parking
small tips.
tips. Yeah, like stuff like that.
A recent tip we learned is if you don't want to take the tram into Disneyland, you can park in Pixar.
Yeah.
So it's called, and it's a lot easier to walk through downtown Disney to get into the park.
Yes. So if you have a stroller, if you're taking a stroller, um if you get on the tram, you have to fold up the stroller to take it on the tram. So I was like, that's really annoying. I don't want to do that. So there's a bridge. It's kind of new. I would say in the last couple of years they built it from the Pixar and Pixar Pals, I think it's called, parking
Mhm.
structure, which is right beyond the Mickey and Friends one. And you can even park in Mickey and Friends, but it's like a longer walk. But if you park in Pixar, you walk down through downtown, you go through security right before downtown Disney, and then you can just walk through downtown Disney and you don't have to fold up the stroller. It takes like 15 minutes. It's a longer walk, but it probably takes them around the same amount of time because you have to wait for the tram and like
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff
absolutely.
anyway. So that has been honestly really, really great. Specifically with the stroller. And if you don't want to wait for the tram, etc., like you can always just do that, especially at the end of the day when you're coming home. A lot of times the tram line can be really long and like
Hmm.
it's really annoying. And if you can muster just walking a little longer, yeah, would recommend doing that. For sure. Yeah. I would also recommend if you're coming in the warmer time, like bring a handheld fan. I know it's a really basic tip, but like it kind
Hats,
of saves your
fan,
life
amazing.
when it's like really hot. Also another tip is like just if it's really hot, go into the AC as much as possible. So like if you want to take some time to like peruse the shops, like all of that kind of stuff, they all have really nice AC. So
Mhm.
that's one of my favorite things to do is just look around at what there is there.
I think a tip I have is, and this is kind of like a don't do tip. A lot of people will read and like hear, oh, they have a Starbucks in Disneyland. My tip would be avoid that Starbucks at all costs. It
Mm,
is super busy, and I don't think you can mobile order, so you have to wait in that
yeah.
line as long as a line for a ride just
I
for a
would say
coffee.
there's a Starbucks also in downtown Disney where you can mobile order, I
Hmm.
believe. So I would say just go in downtown Disney. Even if
Absolutely.
you can't mobile order, the line there tends to be shorter. Um, so I also wrote down checkisitpacked.com before you go,
Oh.
especially before you reserve your dates. So for those of you who don't know, when you buy a ticket, you have to reserve the day that you're going
Hmm. For Disney
through Disney, the app
specific
as
thing.
well.
Yeah. Huh.
You can do it online, but obviously the app is like easier. I think you can do it through the app. You may have to do it online. Either way, you have to reserve it. It shows up in your app. You can do it definitely through your email. Okay, just do it through your confirmation ticket email. Um, you have to choose which park you're starting in. So so if you start in Disneyland, you can't enter California Adventure till 11 a.m. if you have a park hopper ticket.
Uh-huh.
So if you don't have a park hopper ticket, you have to select which park you're going to go in, and you can't go to the other park if you choose that park. So just keep that in mind. Um,
Be aware.
yeah, just make sure all that is correct before you go. Um, there's a website called isitpacked.com. When you're reserving your dates, if you have different options that you can go, it'll forecast it based on years past. So it'll take into account, okay, is there a grad night that day? Like
Mm.
that will, if it's a grad night, the California Adventure closes at like 8 p.m., like really
Mm.
early, because then they have that whole park to themselves, the
Yep.
students. And then Disneyland gets extremely busy because everybody like
Yeah.
migrates
True.
over. Um, so for example, or like they have events during the year like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, that Christmas party, like those are
Valentine's
Disneyland,
Day.
yeah, like whatever different nights that they have.
Hmm.
So Disneyland will close at like 8 p.m. again. And so you might have to if you're planning to be there in the evening, I would say don't choose those days. If you aren't, then like that's fine. But just check that website before you go. I would say personally, I don't think it's important to have I don't think it's important or smart to have a list of like, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're like before you go, before the day of. Because I would recommend writing down and just having in your mind the things that you want to do. Like have a list of like, these are my priorities, and then choose to make those things happen based on the data that exists when you get there. So if there's like, if you really want to go on Space Mountain and I don't know, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you get there, first of all, assess the wait times, assess if you want to get Lightning Lane, do that if you want. Say you want to do World of Color, which is a great show in California Adventure. You have to reserve that as well, and you have to do it in California Adventure at noon. So through the app. So like just things like that you want to take into account. Like if you want to do World of Color, make sure you do research on like how to get those reservations. If you want to see the fireworks, make sure you find out when it's happening, parades, all that kind of stuff. Like so just have your priority list, like characters. If you're like, I need to meet Peter Pan, just like know when that's happening
Hmm.
and go from there and kind of like plan your day around those like main things. So
Disney really, especially if you're trying to like capitalize on all the time you have there, which is not that much. It really favors flexibility, like those who are flexible. I mean, because there's, of course you have family, people need to eat, people need to go to the bathroom, little ones need to sleep. But even if you're just got nothing to tie you down per se, rides close, things happen, so different events are there. I mean, it's good to be flexible and just probably the best way to go about it. And just go to different things at different times. It doesn't have to be right at every single time that you have to make it. By I would also say for first time goers or people who have been before, and if you want to see a parade or a show,
mm,
fireworks, World of Color, and California Adventure, there are insane wait times sometimes. Like people will line up hours and hours and hours in the spots just to get a good seat for a specific thing. Be aware, and I think you can ask cast members, I'm not 100% sure, but there are certain spots that some people will sometimes wait and they can't sit there anyways.
yeah, like they block it
They
off.
block certain areas off, so just be aware of that. Any other tips for like parades or
Yeah, I
shows?
would say like again, it's hard. It's hard. Like maybe be okay with not having like something else I'll say. Okay, this is what I'll say. I don't really think there is like a bad seat for that. If you're on Main Street or like you're on the path of the
Mm,
parade, like if you're like 4 people back, you can still see everything.
if you're tall
Yeah,
enough.
exactly. But most people are really nice.
Yes,
And like
yeah,
most people at Disneyland, especially if you have little kids and they're trying to see and they can't see, like
yeah,
people will move or
yeah.
you can
Mhm.
say like, hey, like, excuse me, like, can we
Can
just
I
like
go to the
go to
front?
this side or whatever? Like just it's fine. Like I don't think, especially for the fireworks, like unless they're blocked behind like a tree or something, like
Yeah, yeah.
I think that there's a lot of good seats. Like don't think you need to be like right in front of the castle, front and center. If you do want that, you are gonna have to wait longer or pay for some sort of VIP like tour
Mhm.
or something like that where like you have that included.
Yep.
Because there are sections where like they have special people, but if you're not wanting to do that, like you might have to start waiting like an hour beforehand. And
Mhm.
um, but I will say, yeah, I don't think that there's like a super bad seat in the house, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
unless you're like I said, behind an obstruction. Um, yeah, I think that's it for shows and stuff like that. Um,
Another tip I have is if you are going with someone who is disabled in your party, I would recommend taking advantage of that for sure because Disney offers a lot of different accommodations, and that can apply to your whole party if you have one person who's disabled. It's not like a guarantee, but I do know that they are obviously accommodating, so they have options. So
Mm.
don't.
Were you able to do that in Disney World for
I was, yes. So
someone?
don't be shy or scared. I would say it's definitely
Don't take advantage of your disabled family member or
no,
friend.
no, but
Tell them to take advantage of the
yeah, tell them
situation.
to be like
Okay, in high
aware.
school, so my grad night was at Disneyland, and this friend who like
Oh no.
who like said she got anxiety when she waited in lines for too long. I don't even know if they would let you do that anymore and like just say that. You might have to like show some sort of proof. This was like 10 years ago, and she was able to get a pass, and like he like Danny said it applied to our whole party. So we didn't wait in a single line that night. Like we just speed ran all the rides. Like
That's
honestly, it was amazing.
crazy.
It was so funny.
There's no way that would work anymore. But
No, like because everyone
an
would say that, but
that's an interesting
it was a very very
trick.
memorable grad night
Yeah.
for sure.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think that that's all of my like. Oh, the one thing I was gonna say because I didn't think of this, and
Hmm.
maybe I'm just dumb, but bringing a stroller when you're a parent, I first of all, I've heard people say like, "Oh, you don't need to bring a stroller, just bring your carrier." No, like bring your stroller, especially even if it's just for a place for the kid to sleep
Yeah.
and nap.
Depends how young they are, but if they're young enough,
Yeah,
then a stroller is definitely
if
recommended.
they're young enough to need to take a nap in the middle of the day, like bring your stroller.
Yeah.
Um,
I also, before we get to this, I also do recommend quick tip. Um, Carriers for in the line or like those little like
yeah,
hip things you can set them on.
the tush baby.
Those are great.
Yeah,
Those are very helpful
for
because
in
you
line.
can't bring a stroller in the line if you didn't know.
Right.
So
You can't bring a stroller in the line. Okay, that leads into my next tip very well. So, since you can't bring it in the line, there's like areas where people like park their strollers. Okay. I'll say a lot of people just like leave their stuff in there, like their bag and everything. We've kind of like been more flexible more we've gone because like you don't want to be like a pack mule in the line. But I would say like don't leave your keys, wallet,
yeah,
phone, blah blah blah
it
in
still
there.
is
Okay.
public.
But there's these areas where you park strollers. Um, I have a stroller that like 85% of other moms also have. And so I didn't really think about it, but like it's very important to put something on your stroller that marks it as yours. And when we went, I saw people had like signs that said like the Miller family, Disneyland 2025. I was like, that's like insane. I'm sure you can get them on Etsy. People probably
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
But I just tied like a red like ribbon to it because as well when you park it, sometimes the cast members will move your stroller and like organize them
yeah.
like to make it more efficient. And if you come out and you're like, where the heck is my stroller? And there's like 50 gray
No,
strollers.
there can be hundreds
No, there's a lot of
of strollers. There's
strollers.
so many strollers in some
Which
areas.
makes sense, but like
Yeah, it's just crazy. I didn't. When I went before I had a kid, I did not realize that.
it's
You
almost
just
like you
like,
don't even
yeah,
notice
you're
them.
just
You're just like,
blind.
oh, strollers,
But
whatever.
it's a sea of strollers sometimes, and it's crazy,
So
especially if they move it.
it's like a suitcase. Make sure to like
Good
if you have a
analogy.
black suitcase, you're gonna want to put a luggage tag
Yeah,
on
we're
that
not
thing.
telling you to spray paint your strollers, but
I mean, you can.
have a you totally can. You can bedazzle it. Just have a distinguishing some type
Item.
of item
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that that is like all of my. I don't know. I keep thinking of more things. Like there's an area in Toontown where there's like a grassy area. So if you do have little ones that need to like run around and like be free for a little bit and you just want to sit down, it's almost like a park area.
Yeah.
That's a really good place to go. Um, there's also one more thing I'll say, and everybody knows this, but I'll just say it anyway. There's like baby care centers in both California Adventure and Disneyland, like near the entrances. I think I'm not too sure where the California Adventure one is. I think it's by the animated art studio, but the Disneyland one is right at the entrance. I think that that's all of my like top tip practical
Big tips.
advice. Um, Yeah, but I just wanted to end by like talking a little bit about like what are some of your favorite things to do at Disneyland and like what you would recommend someone to do if it was their first time.
Hmm.
Like
First
don't miss
time,
doing this.
or if you haven't been there in a while, or
Yeah.
if you only have one day, um, it's
Whether it's
tough
rides,
because
food, experiences, like
there's a lot of big rides. We've kind of already talked about it. I think unique rides, and it depends. It depends on like how old school you are. If you like classic Disneyland rides, or if you like there's like new like rides nowadays are very digital and can be different sometimes. So I think Star Wars Rise of Resistance is very cool technology wise. It's very different. Um, I think if you want more of a classic ride, like very old school, Splash Mountain.
but it's not there
I'm
anymore.
sorry, true.
It's
Okay,
new now.
well, okay, true. That's right. It's not classic anymore.
Sorry, you can't do it. You missed it.
Um, okay, well, the other mountains then. Thunder Mountain is very classic.
Yeah.
That's great. Space Mountain is still also really good and just fun roller coaster.
That's a
You
classic
know,
to
yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. Any food or anything
Food,
else?
I would say Dole Whip.
Yeah.
If you do, oh, Tiki Room also. Who knows if it'll be there much longer? I don't know. They're doing something to it when we went last time, but
Mhm.
that was great. I would recommend that if it's still open. But the other side of it, there's like a basic Dole Whip area, and then there's like a special Dole Whip area, isn't there?
That is so not helpful for someone who like doesn't know. They're like, this is the basic one. Basically,
Either.
there's a stand outside the tiki room, okay, which is the only place you used to be able to get it. And then the line was like causing too much traffic, I think, in that bottleneck
Oh,
area
got
because
it.
it's the pathway to Adventureland. So it's kind of like, yeah, they needed another spot. And so they opened it. It used to be where you could like remember you could like meet Aladdin and
Yes,
Jasmine. It was like
yes,
a
yes.
weird
It was a
area.
show, wasn't it?
No, the show was a California Adventure. It was
Oh,
just like their like little lair. Like they just
yeah.
like were there all the time. Anyway, it's like behind the tiki room on the other side. So if you're coming from Indiana Jones walking towards the tiki room, it's like to your
I don't
right.
even know if it's like they still offer that, but they offer like different flavors of Dole Whip. But Dole
Hmm.
Whip in general, would recommend. It's usually hot there, so it's usually really yummy.
Yes.
Um, there's obviously the big turkey leg. It's good. You know, it's not like my crazy favorite. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Same thing with the beignets.
Mm.
Wouldn't really be like I've been to New Orleans and they're okay. Honestly, I think I would recommend the chimichangas. Those are a little unknown, but they're a cool little snack you can get it by Big Thunder.
Yeah, you can.
But
Did
Dole
you
Whip is my
sneak a
main one.
chimichanga last time when I was on
No,
Big Thunder
no,
without
no. I
you?
should have. But
Cool.
in terms of restaurants wise, like hidden gems. I've tried a couple of them. I've tried. I don't know. At Disney, I wouldn't say anything stuck out really.
For quick service, the Bengal barbecue
That's pretty
is really good.
good.
It's right by Indiana Jones. It's like you can't really there's not a lot of seating, but
Hmm.
there's it's like chicken skewers and rice and like
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Disneyland food is very expensive.
Yes.
So just
Heads
be
up.
prepared for that. As is everything else.
Hmm.
It's just marked up. I paid $9 for a bottle of water last time. So just bring your own water.
Put that in perspective.
um yeah, there's like okay, there's one this is a tip. There's one place to refill a water bottle with filtered water. It's like a fountain. It's next to the tiki room across
Hmm.
the way between Adventureland and Frontierland.
Yeah, right at the
It's
beginning.
not cold. So keep that in mind. And there's always a long line.
Yeah,
So
there may be others in the park that we don't know of,
no,
but that's
that's the
the
only one.
main one. Oh, okay. Well,
From what I've heard.
right.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the only one. So like as far as like a spout, like there's water
Yes, yes,
fountains
yes, yes, yes.
about,
Right,
but
right. Like a
like
meant to fill up water
yeah.
bottle. Yeah.
And so I think like just bring a lot of your own water if you can.
Hmm.
You can always also ask for a cup of water
Yeah,
from
of
a
course, of
restaurant as
course.
well for free. So you can do that too.
Yeah. And what other foods?
Okay, so as a gluten-free individual, there's not a whole lot as far as like treats. There's ice cream, which is kind of basic. It's good, but it's like nothing like super special.
Right.
Unless you count Salt and Straw in downtown Disney, which is
Well, you can also go
I
to
love.
Pooh's Corner. There's some great like treat
Yeah,
sections
yeah, but there's
there.
no ice cream.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes, no ice
so
cream,
but
yes.
yeah, Pooh Corner has some good treats like caramel apples are a good option for
Mm-hmm.
gluten free as
Like they
well
have some
as
good, really cool like Rice Krispies and
marshmallow
stuff,
treats, like stuff
marshmallows.
like that. So that's for sweets, and Dole Whip is gluten free as well.
Mm-hmm.
They do offer certain restaurants offer like gluten free burgers, so that's what I've
Mm-hmm.
had in the past. I also had from Jolly Holiday the grilled cheese
Her
and tomato
favorite.
soup, which is my fave. It's like comfort food for me. Um, that's pretty much it as far as food goes for me because I'm definitely a bring your own snack food type of person.
There's some decent places
Um,
in Star Wars Land. But again, just expensive.
yeah, the coffee is also expensive, but it's kind of cool to try the different like cold brews. Those are like my new thing that I like to do is trying all the different cold brews. Um, so let's see for rides. Um, one of my favorites, it's kind of a honorable mention or not honorable mention, underrated mention is the Mater ride in California
Oh
Adventure.
yeah.
It's so fun and
Uh,
there's often not a long wait at all. So I definitely recommend that one. It's like one of my favorite rides. It's very whimsical and fun. Yeah, I don't know. If you're only going for one day or like you're new, um, yeah, I would say definitely go on the ones you said. I just agree with you. I don't think I have any like extra ones. Soaring over the world maybe is
that's super cool. It's very unique.
a good one.
I think.
Oh,
Are we
sorry.
talking about Disney or California Adventure
Both.
too? Okay. Well, finish what you're gonna say. What were you saying?
Well, I was gonna say I thought about this earlier because I also don't like a lot of rides. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a wimp. I've been on all of them there, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but um yeah, I don't like a lot of them. So if you're like nervous to go on a ride that you haven't been on before, or like you're like, I don't know how this is gonna go,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the videos exist online of
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
walkthroughs or ride throughs. And like if you don't mind spoilers, which I'm sure I think if you have anxiety, you'd rather see it than have a spoiler. Um, just watch the video and like see if you think that you can handle it or not. It's also helpful to see like I get really motion sick with screens. And
Mm.
so if you watch the video and you're like, oh, this is like all screens, I definitely shouldn't go on this. It's like helpful to see beforehand.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of an obvious tip, but some people might not think of it. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, go ahead.
I think talked about some of my favorites, but I think in general, if you want to get like a good grasp of Disneyland, I think you should hit up I think Haunted Mansion. Just in general,
That is
this is
such
a
a cool
very
take. Yeah.
good experience in terms of it. It's very different. It's very
And
unique.
it's very iconic as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. I think Haunted Mansion. I think
Pirates.
Pirates. Um, I think Indiana Jones is very classic as well. So those
Yeah.
three are very big on that corner of the map. And that's why it's really packed over there. I think obviously Small World is very classic. It's one of the oldest rides.
Mhm.
I think honestly, Space Mountain, it's cool, but like it's not a lot to it if that makes sense. Like it's not like a story based at all.
Right. Like it's just
It's
a
just
roller
yeah,
coaster
it's a
with the
cool,
dark.
fast,
Yeah.
dark roller coaster. I think Big Thunder as well. It's not like super story driven, so it's a cool roller coaster, but it's not like anything crazy. I think Rise of the Resistance is really cool. If you're into Star Wars, definitely recommend. Um, Anything else that like you could like
But
if you
like
went on
that's one
those,
that there are screens. So like I can't do that one.
that's true. Yeah. But I think Haunted Mansion, Pirates,
Indiana Jones.
Indiana
Those are some
Jones,
solid
Star
recommendations.
Wars, I would definitely recommend
Yeah.
because you can get some good and teacups.
Yeah, the teacups
It's
are
just
also a
so
classic.
cool. It's so classic. But I know
Yeah.
there's obviously it'll vary for a lot of people, but I think those are if I could only go on like 5 rides, was that 5? Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Pirates, Haunted Mansion,
Teacups.
Teacups.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I said something else, but 6 rides, 5 rides, whatever the case. I think you could get like a pretty good
Small World.
idea. Small World, yeah. You get a pretty good idea of just Disneyland as a whole.
Yes, I agree. And the vibes of it.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. Of course, there's plenty of hidden gems everywhere. Like Mr. Toad is such a weird and wild ride. There's Autotopia that a lot of people, it's interesting. There's Nemo over there. There's Buzz Lightyear. That one's pretty fun. Minis is a new
Just
one.
all the rides. We're just listing them all.
I'm trying to think of like some ones that are either not as popular or not as talked about. But yeah, there's tons of things. I mean, you can even go to see different shows.
Yeah, the last thing I'll mention. This is the last thing. If it's hot and you want something cool to do in California Adventure, the animator studio. Basically, you go in this big room. First of all, is really cool. And you wait in there, and then there's like on the left, it's like almost like a show. So you go into like kind of a theater.
Yeah.
And you get a big piece of paper and a big pencil, and an actual cast member, an artist, sketch artist, like teaches you step by step how to draw a character. So like each showing is a different character. So like we would get like Remy from Ratatouille, or
Donald Duck.
Yeah, just different, whoever, Mickey. It could be any character, Goofy. And they just show you how to draw it, and you draw it, and then you get to keep that as a memento as well. That's also another cool like keepsake for free if you want to do that. And it's air conditioned. So
good mention.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm sure we could go on and on for ages, but I think those are the top tips.
Those are the top ones you got to do.
Sorry it was such a smorgasbord of tips.
But you got to experience it for yourself.
You got this. Don't be overwhelmed at the end of the day. Enjoy the day. It's the main.
Just have fun.
The main thing. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah. Good luck in your trip to Disney and your magical moments, as they say.
Yes, absolutely. At the happiest place on earth.
Mm-hmm. Got to sign off. I do the little Disney Channel like wand thing.
Oh yeah.
The ears.
Dun, dun, dun. You're watching Tubbie Talk.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, Danny here. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Don't forget to give us a follow on all the socials and subscribe to our show wherever you get your podcast. See you on the flip side.